The story of the greengrocer and the parrot, and the parrot's spilling the oil in the shop. There was a greengrocer who had a parrot, a sweet-voiced, green, talking parrot. Perched on the bench, it would watch over the shop in the owner's absence and talk finely to all the traders. In addressing human beings, it would speak like them. It was also skilled in the song of parrots. Once it sprang from the bench and flew away. It spilled the bottles of rose oil. Its master came from the direction of his house and seated himself on the bench, at his ease, as a merchant does. Then he saw the bench was full of oil, and his clothes greasy. He smote the parrot on the head. It was made bald by the blow. For some few days it refrained from speech. The greengrocer, in repentance, heaved deep sighs, tearing his beard and saying, "Alas, the sun of my prosperity has gone under the clouds. Would that my hand had been broken at that moment. How ever did I strike such a blow on the head of that sweet-tongued one?" He was giving presents to every dervish that he might get back the speech of his bird. After 3 days and 3 nights, he was seated on the bench, distraught and sorrowful, like a man in despair, showing the bird every sort of marvel in the hope that maybe it would begin to speak. Meanwhile, a bare-headed dervish, clad in a jalak, a coarse woolen frock, passed by with a head hairless as the outside of bowl and basin. Thereupon the parrot began to talk, screeched at the dervish and said, "Hey, fellow, how were you mixed up with the bald? Oh, bald-pate, did you then spill oil from the bottle?" The bystanders laughed at the parrot's inference, because it deemed the wearer of the frock to be like itself. Do not measure the actions of holy men by the analogy of yourself, though share, lion, and shear, milk, are similar in writing. On this account the whole world is gone astray. Scarcely anyone is cognizant of God's Abdal. They set up claim of equality with the prophets. They suppose the saints to be like themselves. "Behold," they said, "we are men, they are men. Both we and they are in bondage to sleep and food." In their blindness they did not perceive that there is an infinite difference between them. Both species of Zanbur ate and drank from the same place, but from that one, the hornet, came a sting, and from this other, the bee, honey. Both species of deer ate grass and drank water. From this one came dung, and from that one pure musk. Both reeds drank from the same water source, but this one is empty, and that one full of sugar. Consider hundreds of thousands of such likenesses, and observe that the distance between the two is as great as a 70 years' journey. This one eats, and filth is discharged from him. That one eats, and becomes entirely the light of God. This one eats, and of him is born nothing but avarice and envy. That one eats, and of him is born nothing but love of the one God. This one is good, fertile soil, and that one brackish and bad. This one is a fair angel, and that one a devil and wild beast. If both resemble each other in aspect, it may well be so. Bitter water and sweet water have the same clearness. Who knows the difference, except a man possessed of taste? Find him. He knows the sweet water from the brine. Comparing magic with prophetic miracle, the ignorant one fancies that both are founded on deceit. The magicians, in the time of Moses, for contention's sake, lifted up in their hands a rod like his. But between this rod and that rod there is a vast difference. From this action, magic, to that action, miracle, is a great way. This action is followed by the curse of God, while that action receives in payment the mercy of God. The infidels, in contending for equality with the prophets and saints, have the nature of an ape. The evil nature is a canker within the breast. Whatever a man does, the ape at every moment does the same thing that he sees done by the man. He thinks, I have acted like him. How should that quarrelsome-looking one know the difference? The holy man acts by the command of God, and the apish imitator for the sake of quarrelling. Pour dust on the heads of those who have quarrelsome faces. That religious hypocrite joins in ritual prayer with the sincere conformist, only for quarrelling's sake, not for supplication. In prayer and fasting and pilgrimage and almsgiving, the true believers are engaged with the hypocrite in what brings victory and defeat. Victory in the end is to the true believers. Upon the hypocrite falls defeat in the state hereafter. Although both are intent on one game, in relation to each other they are afar apart, as the man of myrrh and the man of rye. Each one goes to his proper abiding place. Each one fares according to his name. If he be called a true believer, his soul rejoices, and if you say hypocrite, he becomes filled with fire. The true believer's name is loved on account of its essence, which is true faith. This one's name is loathed on account of its pestilent qualities. The four letters, mim and wow and meme and noon, do not confer honour. The word mu'min, true believer, is only for the sake of denotation. If you call the true believer hypocrite, this vile name is stinging him within. This vile name is stinging him within, like a scorpion. If this name is not derived from hell, then why is there the taste of hell in it? The foulness of that ill name is not from the letters. The bitterness of that sea water is not from the vessel containing it. The letters are the vessel. Therein the meaning is contained like water, but the sea of the meaning is with God. With him is the Kitab. In this world, the bitter sea and the sweet sea are divided. Between them is a barrier which they do not seek to cross. Know that both these flow from one origin. Pass on from them both. Go all the way to their origin. Without the touchstone, you will never know in the assay, adulterated gold and fine gold, using your own judgment. Anyone in whose soul God shall put the touchstone, he will distinguish certainty from doubt. A piece of rubbish jumps into the mouth of a living man, and only when he ejects it is he at ease. When, amongst thousands of morsels of food, one little piece of rubbish entered his mouth, the living man's sense of touch or taste tracked it down. The worldly sense is the ladder to this world. The religious sense is the ladder to heaven. Seek ye the well-being of the former sense from the physician. Beg you the well-being of the latter sense from the beloved. The health of the former arises from the flourishing state of the body. The health of the latter arises from the ruin of the body. The spiritual way ruins the body, and after having ruined it, restores it to prosperity. Ruined the house for the sake of the golden treasure, and with that same treasure builds it better than before. Cut off the water and cleansed the riverbed, then caused drinking water to flow in the riverbed. Cleft the skin, and drew out the iron point of the arrow. Then fresh skin grew over the wound. Raised the fortress and took it from the infidel. Then reared thereon 100 towers and ramparts. Who shall describe the action of him who hath no like? This that I have said is only what the present necessity is affording. Sometimes the action of God appears like this, and sometimes the contrary of this. The work of religion is naught but bewilderment. Not one bewildered in such wise that his back is towards him, no, but one bewildered like this, and drowned, and intoxicated with the beloved. The face of the one is set towards the beloved, while the face of the other is just his own face. Look long on the face of everyone. Keep watch attentively. It may be that by doing service to Sufis you will come to know the face of the true saint. Since there is many a devil who hath the face of Adam, it is not well to give your hand to every hand, because the fowler produces a whistling sound in order to decoy the bird, so that the bird may hear the note of its congener and come down from the air and find trap and knife point. The vile man will steal the language of dervishes, that he may thereby chant a spell over one who is simple. The work of men is light and heat. The work of vile men is trickery and shamelessness. They make a woolen lion for the purpose of begging. They give the title of Muhammad, to Bu Musailim. But to Bu Musailim remained the title of Khazab, liar. To Muhammad remained the title of Ulul Albab, endowed with understanding. The wine of God, its seal is pure musk, but as for the other wine, its seal is stench and torment.